The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation, make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels, operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, South Snohomish, Washington, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32848. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Let's start down at the front bumper. On the passenger side face of the bumper, you'll find dual air horns. Moving just inside that location on the frame rail, you'll find 2 closed tow hooks. Just on either side of the frame rail, mounted in the center face of the bumper, you'll find your PA speaker electronic siren. There are 2. And then moving to the driver's side face of the bumper, you'll find your mechanical siren. Moving up onto the top deck of the bumper, you'll find a D-handled access point for a tubbed storage location for your bumper load. In addition, on the driver's side, you'll find a 1.5-inch swivel discharge. Moving up to the headlight structure on the outer edge, you'll find a marker turn indicator, low and high beam headlights. Moving up from that, you'll find an emergency warning light cluster. And then on your seamless one-piece windshield, you'll find 3 windshield wipers. Moving to the outer edge of the mirrors, you'll find a flat and convex mirror. Moving up to the brow of the apparatus, you'll find 5 running lights. And then located directly in the center, you'll find a forward-facing floodlight. Moving up onto the roof of the cab, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Located directly within the light bar, you'll find your opticom, and then you'll also find a go light directly above that. We'll go ahead and move through some close-up images. First, this is the notch regarding the tubbed storage location for your front bumper load. Inside, you'll find material to allow the hose to be raised for airflow. This is your front discharge. It's water and foam capable. As we move to the headlight structure, you'll find high beam is on the inside and the low beam is on the outer edge. As we move to the side of the vehicle, you'll find your shoreline inlet. This is a 20 amp auto eject plug. When plugged into shore power, your battery charging indicator will activate. Let's move to the rear section of the cab where you'll find your foam pump discharge drain and the foam pump intake drain. Just above that, you'll find a tubbed storage location for your hose. Just above that, we're going to move to the panel area. We'll first start in the upper left-hand corner of this image. First starting with the cupped module holder for your booster line nozzle. Moving to the right, you'll find a pump intake. Moving further to the right, you're going to find your pump discharge. These are the 2 master gauges, pump intake and pump discharge. Moving further to the right, you'll find a foam level indicator for tank A from full, 3/4, half, quarter to refill. As we move to the left-hand side, this is your minimum operation maintenance schedule. We'll talk about that in a moment. Moving further to the right, we have a few warning labels. This is a fall hazard, not to ride on the side of the vehicle. Underneath that, you'll find a warning hazard regarding entanglement, and be cautious where those hoses are coming off above. You also find your vacuum and pressure test gauge ports. They are currently plugged. Let's move to the right where this is your pressure throttle governor. We'll go over that in a little bit of detail. And then you also have 2 indicators here. One is your panel lights, and then also a pump engaged, which will be indicating in green if your pump is properly engaged. Beneath that, your Husky foam system module. Further to the right, you'll find a set of switches, and we'll talk a little bit about those in the next set of images. Moving to the left, you'll find your deluge discharge. The wheel actually has an open and closed indicator. Moving to the far left-hand side, we're going to find all your associated discharges. Located directly under the pressure throttle governor is a black speaker. This does have an outer bezel around it so that you can dampen the sound. To the right, you'll find your driver's rear discharge and also your officer rear discharge. All the way to the right, you'll find your engine cooler. This is a twist, not a pull. Let's move down from that location. You'll find your fire pump primer, push to prime. There are some instructions just beneath that regarding at least 1,000 RPMs before engaging.
You do have a number 1 and number 2 crosslay, in addition with a 2.5-inch crosslay located midship. As we move further down, here's some close-ups of your discharges. This is that minimum operation maintenance schedule for 150, 200, and 250 psi. On the left are the GPMs associated with that test pressure, and on the right are the RPMs. It also has your job number located in the upper left-hand corner of this plaque. Let's move now to your pressure throttle governor. Starting in the upper left-hand corner, if illuminated, check engine light would be yellow or amber in color. In the center, you'll find your RPM digital readout. Moving further to the right, if illuminated, you'll find a red stop engine. Just beneath that, you'll find all of your information regarding diagnostic material for your engine. And then let's move down to your water tank level. That's the blue module. And then to the right, you're going to find a silence button, which will silence that audible alarm speaker just beneath the throttle control. And then also a menu button, which will allow you to scroll through the various menus. You have two options, either pressure control or throttle control RPMs. Located in the center, you're going to find the digital readout informational display. To the right, you'll find your RPM control or throttle control, and the method in which you change those is through the blue button, the control module. Located directly in the center, you'll find your throttle ready. This is a green indicator indicating that you are able to engage the throttle. And then to the right, you can pre-designate presets. That's the green button here. Moving all the way down, you'll find your throttle increase or decrease as the arrow indicates. And then also a center button, which is your idle button. Let's move back up to the top here. If your pump is properly engaged, this pump indicator light will activate. Moving further down to the red module, this is your Husky foam system. There is a system on-off button. It's the green button. Just beneath that, you'll find a foam percentage digital readout. In the gray, you'll find an increase or decrease button. To the right, a prime button, and also a system status. There are operating instructions directly on the face of the module. Let's move further down and identify a few more items. First, starting with that minimum operation maintenance schedule that we previously mentioned. Here's the information regarding that. Just beneath that, we do have a warning here regarding pressurized hazard, associated hazards while removing a tap that may be under pressure. Looking in the center is your large diameter pump intake. Moving further to the right, you'll find your tank to pump, and you can see that it is in the reversed position. In is closed. To the right, you'll find your manual pump shift, and then just beneath that you'll find the pump drain. Moving further down, we're going to find this warning label that only trained personnel should operate this vehicle, and that's only after training and using the owner's manual. Just beneath that you'll find the driver's side auxiliary inlet. This is a 2.5-inch female inlet, and to the left you'll find your placard regarding your Watrous pump. You do have color-coded labeled drains located on the left-hand side, and then all the way to the left, far left here in this image, you'll find a real drain, and then also a pan door, and we'll discuss the contents of that in the next set of images. Here's some more close-ups here. You have a 1500 GPM capacity Watrous pump. Moving down to the left, this is that real discharge, and then moving further down, you're going to find your air supply. To the right inside the pan door, this is your foam fill horizontal level. You can see that the yellow handle coincides with the sticker on the left, and then also a foam drain just inside. This is your draft foam tank inlet. The red lever indicates the position. As we move to the dunnage area, first you'll find a tensioning rod here, which allows you to tension the amount of pressure, allowing the wheel to free spool or not. On the very top, you'll find the mechanism where you insert the tool for rewinding manually. Your vehicle is equipped with an extended gun, and there's also a wheel at the very top for opening and closing the discharge for that. You'll also find your hydraulic for your foam system located up in the dunnage area. We do have two stickers placed here on each side of the cab. This is not a walking surface, and it's a warning label regarding slipping. You do have exterior yellow diamonds around the exterior areas of your vehicle for firefighter safety. Inside the location of that diamond plate, you'll find your water fill and also foam fill for tank A. Here's a quick image looking from the full section here of the dunnage area, housing the water and also the foam fill location. As we look to the side of the apparatus, you have significant storage locations on the top side, on the right and left. Let's go ahead and move through some of the compartments here on the driver's side. This is just past the pump panel. You can see that we have an SCBA storage location located in the first compartment. You do have SCBA bottle storage locations in front and in rear of the rear tire, in addition with a retaining strap on one of them. You also have your diesel ultra low sulfur. This is the silver cap. And then when you move the flap down, you'll find the blue cap, which is your 4.5 US gallon DEF tank. Let's move to the very last compartment down at the very base. You're going to find a 9,000 pound maximum allowable winch rating. This is a receiver. Moving up from that location, you'll find in this compartment a pull-out style shelf. The release mechanism is on the right. Your compartments are LED, and also they have airflow or recirculation. In this compartment, you'll also find the blue Shoreline inverted outlet. It is a 15 amp outlet. Moving up to the top, you'll find adjustable shelving. As we move around to the rear of the apparatus, you'll find your brake, turn, emergency light, and also reverse. As we move up from that, you'll also find a cupped switch, which allows you to turn on the scene lights to the rear. Moving further up, you'll find emergency warning lights. As we move to the center section, you'll find two discharges on the passenger and driver side. In the center, you'll find your traffic advisor. And then directly in the center under that traffic advisor is where you'll find your reverse or backup camera. We do have a few warning labels here, and I'd like to go over those. First, pressurized hazard. Remember that caps that may be under pressure are hazardous. Moving to the right, fall, not a good idea to ride on the rear of the apparatus. And moving further to the right, you'll find an entanglement warning. This is because of those hoses coming off out of the hose bed. There's the possibility of entanglement. As we move to the right, this is the officer side rear discharge. And then as we move down to the lower section, we'll find this pan door. We'll talk a little bit what the contents are in it. First, let's go all the way up to the top where you'll find your rear scene lights. And then we'll move back down to that rear deck lights. These are the lights that are controlled from the switch on the passenger side. Inside the roll-up compartment door, you'll find a pull-out shelf. This is the release mechanism for it, and an adjustable shelf above. In this compartment, this is that small pan door. This is your powered equipment rack. There is a danger level here. There is the ability for crush, injury. There is instructions also for raise and lower. You do have also in this compartment driver's side hose bed cover and officer side hose bed cover. Let's move through some close-ups here. First, starting with the officer rear discharge water foam capable. It's a 2.5 inch reduced to 1.5 inches. As we move to the driver's side rear discharge water foam capable, once again 2.5 inch. As we move to the rear compartment passenger side, this is a release mechanism for that pull-out shelf, adjustable shelving, LED lighting, and also recirculation. As we move to the mid location, you'll find SCBA storage location. Front and rear of the rear wheel, you'll find bottle storage locations also. As we move down, you'll find retaining straps for those bottle security. And as we move to the next compartment forward, let's start in the upper left-hand corner of this image. First, starting with your inverter, that is the white module here. It's a continuous power supply. There is a rating just underneath that in the lower continuous power supply rating placard. To the right, you'll find one plugged into shore power. This is your air compressor for maintaining air brake pressure. And then to the right, you'll find your recirculating timer for the ventilation system within your compartments. This is that placard regarding the continuous power supply rating, your inverter. As we move midship, we're going to find two 2.5 inch discharges located on the passenger side. We do have a large pan door here for gaining access behind the panel. There's also a warning label here regarding pressurized hazard and the associated problems with removing a cap under pressure. And then as we move to the right, you'll find the officer side floodlight. That's the control switch for that. Let's move back down to the left, large diameter pump intake. Moving further to the right in green, this is your large diameter discharge. As we move all the way down to the lower section, starting on the left-hand side, we'll find the 2.5-inch auxiliary female inlet. And then to the right, we're going to find your cab lift. There are also some danger and warning labels on this. This is the officer side scene light, which we previously mentioned. This is the control that's covering that switch. As we move, this is a close-up of the officer side and number 2 passenger side discharge. Moving to the left, this is the number 4 officer side discharge. Once again, 2.5 reduced to 1.5 inches. Moving just inside that pan door, this is the fill location for your hydraulic reservoir for your equipment powered rack. As we move forward, you'll find the cab lift. There is raise and lower instructions, also some caution and danger information. These are the drains associated, color-coded, and labeled. As we move to the rear section, 2.5-inch female officer side auxiliary inlet. And then as we move to the cab area, this is that long compartment to the rear section of the cab wall. Just above that compartment is where you're going to find your LED tank indicator regarding your water tank level. We're now inside the cab in the rear area. We'll identify a few items here. You can see that there are compartments on either side of the officer and driver side, 2 center-mounted seats located forward-facing. Underneath those seats, you'll find additional storage locations. There are access doors that gain access just under that pedestal. And then as we move to the sides, you'll also find additional locations on the side for gaining access into that pedestal area. As we look overhead, you'll find your air conditioning unit in addition with storage locations above or overhead. And then as we move to the driver's area and passenger area, let's find at all points of entry this set of warning labels for firefighter safety. Your vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system, an airbag, SRS. This is the airbag location. Please do not mount anything within this area for firefighter safety. Down on the lower right-hand side, you'll find your fill location for your windshield wiper fluid. And then at foot level, you'll find an air horn and mechanical siren foot pedal. As we move to the seat on the passenger side, you'll find additional storage locations under this seat. As we move to the front, here's a close-up of the windshield wiper fill location at the hinge side of the door. On the cab area, you'll find 12-volt access, USB at the very top. Just beneath that, you'll find the barrel-style 12-volt. And then as we move forward onto the dash area, you'll find the control module for your Go light, which is the spotlight over the light bar. Moving toward the center cab area, you're going to find a resource storage location. Moving just up from this location in the pass-through area, you're going to find a 12-volt access block. This is for future 12-volt mounting. As we move to the center front section of the cab, you'll find this puck-style light. It's an indicator that you have a compartment or door ajar and do not move your apparatus. As we look overhead, we're going to find a set of switches, front scene, driver's side, and passenger side scene, cab floods, and also a rear cornering lights. All the way to the right, you'll find a siren brake. That's for your mechanical siren. Moving more toward the center, you're going to find the Pierce seatbelt information display. Its information is displaying currently a red indication that there is someone in the seat and they are not belted. If they are belted, it would be green in color. Moving to the right, you'll find your siren control and PA speaker system. You'll also find your traffic advisor. Let's now move to the driver's section of the vehicle. At a point of entry, we're going to have these warning labels for firefighter safety. We also have some information here regarding your seat belt. Our seat belts are red in color for ease of identifying if someone has them on. We'll also move down to about the right ankle. This is going to be your manufactured by Pierce for the county of Snohomish. It does have the manufacturer's date, job number, gross vehicle weight ratings, VIN number, cold tire inflation. It also has all of your fluid capacities, components, and fluid types. As we move to the step well, you'll find a negative and positive battery outlet. And then we're going to find mechanical siren, foot pedal, just to the right of, or just to the left of the brake treadle. Moving up onto about the left knee, you'll find the master battery switch. It's the silver switch. To the right, you'll find the tech module plug-in. Further to the right, you'll find a green engine, transmission, ABS diagnostic port. Moving downward, we're going to find the Diagnostic Display Information module. Moving to the left, we'll find 4 switches: your ABS Diagnostics, DPF Regen, Engine Diagnostics, and Regen Inhibit. There is also an audible speaker here with volume control on the speaker face. Moving up from this location, you'll find future switch locations if necessary, and also your load manager. To the right, you're going to find your pump shift. On the left-hand side, road to pump instructions, and on the right, from pump to road. Just as a reminder, you need 2 green indicators to properly be engaged before exiting the cab. Let's move to the far right-hand side. This is just above the pump shift location. These are your mirror controls for flat and convex. Onto the other side now, left side of the steering column, we're going to find your ignition and start. You'll also find your EM switch, which stands for Emergency Master, controls all of your emergency lights, your headlight and parking light control, and also a panel bright and dim switch. Moving further to the right, you're going to find the on-off switch to engage your high idle with an indicating light. And on the dash, you're going to find your transmission oil, DEF level, and water temperature on the left-hand side of the cluster. Directly in the center, you're going to find tachometer and speedometer. Further to the right, you'll find volts, fuel, front and rear air, informational diagnostic information above and below the speedometer. General view to the right-hand side of the steering column. At the very top, you'll find your Pierce Command Center. This is a tremendous amount of information right at your fingertips. Please see your owner's manual for more information. To the right, your windshield wiper push for fluid. And then we've got a set of switches, which I'll cover in just a moment. To the left, your system parking brake, pull to apply and push to release. Further to the right, you'll find a digital Allison transmission pad. As we move to the upper right-hand corner, you're going to find the climate control for heat defrost, air conditioning, and heat. Here's those set of switches. First, engine brake on and off. We also have a setting switch for that engine brake for low, medium, and high, a front wheel lock, future switch location, siren brake for your mechanical siren, and into the far right, your mirror heat. Close up here on the left is going to be your system parking brake, Allison transmission pad with a information pump and drive. This is your climate control. You also have a 12-volt access USB style. This is your windshield wiper and also push for fluid. In the upper left-hand corner of the vehicle overhead, you're going to find this placard: height 10 feet 5 inches, length 32 feet 1.62 inches, and then a gross vehicle weight rating of 42,000 pounds. This also has your job number. If you make any changes to your apparatus, please update this placard. General view overhead of the operator will start first on the far left-hand side with your emergency master switch. It is the one with the red outline. Moving to the right, you'll find the roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warnings, and then your upper rear warnings. Let's move slightly to the right from this set of switches. We'll find another set of switches: high beam flash, clear light master, your opticom, momentary opticom, air horn, and an electronic siren switch. Any of these switches are depressed, you'll find the green indicator will illuminate, indicating the switch is active. Let's move further to the right to another set of switch bank. You have the front scene, driver's side scene, passenger side scene. You do have deck lights, cab floodlights, and then also the rear cornering lights. Once again, if they're active, they will be illuminating in green. Let's move all the way to the rear section, pass-through compartment again. This is that 12-volt access point, and then just underneath that you'll find 12-volt access, but this is for USB style. Congratulations, South Snohomish, Washington, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32848. If you have any questions as to the content of this video or any future questions regarding your apparatus, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Thank you and congratulations.